Hello, hello! Pizza Pax here, and we're back with Commander Deck number 2. This is Elven Council, the Face Commander Galadriel, Elven Queen. Let's get into this and see what's in here. Now, a feature I missed in the last video is this has easy open packaging. So, nice little update that they did there. Alright, as with the others, we get a suite of 10 punch-out counters, and then 3 of these half-sized pieces. A fold-up deck box that is themed for the Commander deck. You can see a nice little themed life counter. Our Collector's Booster sample pack. This one appears to be in slightly better shape than our last one, and that it doesn't look like a banana. And we have the insert and the deck. Insert has on one side little playing the deck blurb, Commander rules. On the back side, a little bit about Galadriel, Elven Queen, and a little bit about Gandalf, Westward Voyager, which is the other face commander for the deck. Nice. Alright, now we have Galadriel, Elven Queen, which is our face commander. Let's see if we can get this thing opened up. Don't see the cutout. It's fine. All right. So Galadriel, Elven Queen, 2 green and a blue for 4/5 legendary elf noble. Will of the Council. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if another elf entered the battlefield under your control this turn, starting with you, each player votes for domination or guidance. If domination gets more votes, the ring tempts you. Then put a +1/+1 counter on your ring bearer. If guidance gets more votes, or the vote is tied, draw a card. Very nice. Really nice foiling on this too. We have Gandalf, Westward Voyager. 3 green and blue for a 5/5 legendary creature avatar wizard. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, each opponent reveals the top card of their library. If any of those cards shares a card type with that spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy, and each opponent draws a card. Otherwise, you draw a card. We have some cards from LTR. We have Lorraine Revealed. Or Lorien Revealed, I guess. Celeborn the Wise. Elven Farsight. Wode's Pathfinder. Learn from the Past. Now we start getting in... Oh, Learn from the Past. Actually, it's not from that. We've learned from the past. 3 and a blue. For an instant, target player shuffles their graveyard into their library. Draw a card. We have Opt. The very nice new art. For blue, instant, scry 1, draw a card. Preordain, very nice. Love the new art on this. Single blue sorcery, scry 2, draw a card. One of the best cantrips ever printed. We have a new Arbor Elf, very nice. 1/1 Elf Druid for a green, tap to untap target forest. New Beast Within. 2 and a green, instant, destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast token. Cultivate. Love the new art on Cultivate. 2 and a green, sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands. Reveal them. Put 1 into the battlefield tapped and the other in your hand. Then shuffle. Elvish Mystic. Another nice reprint here. Granted, most of these are going to be reprints, but it is a 1/1 for 1, taps for a green. It is an elf druid. An elvish visionary, you can almost start legacy elves with these. And modern elves, really. 1 in a green for a 1/1 elf shaman. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Farhaven elf. 2 in a green for a 1/1 elf druid. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. We have another one from our LTR. This is Mirror of Galadriel. We have Lignify. 1 in a green, tribal enchantment or Treefolk Aura. So this was probably originally printed in Lorwyn. Enchant creature. It becomes enchanted creature is a Treefolk with base power and toughness 0/4 and loses all abilities. So a good way of shutting down a commander. We have Paradise Druid, another reprint from. Let's see, this was from War the Spark, I believe. Might have been Ravnica Allegiance. 1 in a green for a 2/1 elf druid. It has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and tap, add 1 mana of any color. Rampant Growth. 1 in a green sorcery, search your library for a basic, put it into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Reclamation Sage. Very nice. 2 in a green for a 2/1 elf shaman. When it comes into play, destroy target artifact or enchantment. And good old Wood Elves. 2 in a green for a 1/1 elf scout. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a forest card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Keep in mind that it's not tapped, that it's just straight onto the battlefield. It's also forest card, so this gets things like Murmuring Bosk. It gets original duels, so Tropical Island, Taiga, things like that. It gets Shocklands, anything with a card type forest. You can even get a Dryad Arbor with Wood Elves, which is very interesting. You have Growth Spiral. 3 in a blue, instant, draw a card. You may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Arcane Signet. I don't know what this does by now, but it's a 2 mana rock for your commander's color identity. You have Commander's Sphere. 3 mana rock for your commander's color identity that you can sacrifice to draw a card. Good old Lightning Greaves. Great for giving anything haste or protecting it. It's 2 mana equipment that has equip 0. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. Good old Soul Ring. Love the new art on Soul Ring. We all know what that does by now, though. Whisper Silk Cloak. 3 mana equipment. Equipped creature can't be blocked and has shroud. Equip 2. Ash Barrens. Oh, nice. We have new art for Ash Barrens. As someone who plays quite a bit of Pauper, this is very exciting. It is a land that taps for colorless, but also has basic land cycling for 1. Command Tower taps for your commander's color identity. It's in every single commander deck. We have Field of Ruin, 2 mana, taps for colorless, but also 2 mana, tap and sacrifice it, destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. Then each player searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield, and shuffles. Keep in mind this does ramp the players you do not target, because it is all players get to do that. Also, this copy is slightly misprinted. It's skewed ever so slightly. Raise the Palisade. I believe this is one of the new commander cards. But for 4 in a blue, you have a sorcery, choose a creature type, return all creatures that aren't of the chosen type to their owner's hand. Trap the Trespassers. 2 in a blue, instant. Secret Council. Each player secretly votes for a creature you don't control, then those votes are revealed. For each creature that with 1 or more votes, put that many stun counters on it, then tap it. Arwen, Weaver of Hope. 1 green for a 2/1 legendary elf noble. Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters on it equal to Arwen, Weaver of Hope's toughness. So a good way to spread around a lot of counters on creatures as they're coming in, and if you buff Arwen, more counters. Galadriel Ambush. 3 and a green. Instant. Create X 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-elf creatures. So this is a good way to kind of make a lethal crackback. If this were a little more aggressively costed, I could see this being played in Legacy, potentially. And it's also a fog on its own, which is very nice. LOTR, Lorraine, Lieutenant, X and a green. For a 0/0 legendary elf soldier, enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Vigilance. 5 and a green. Until end of turn, other elves you control gain vigilance and get +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Haldare. Very nice. Legolas Greenleaf. 2 and a green for a 2/2 legendary elf archer with reach. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas Greenleaf. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Very nice. Alright, Mirkwood Elk. 5 and a green for 6/6 Elk. Trample. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, return target elf card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain life equal to that card's power. Very nice. Good way to get your elves back. Travel through Carcadras. 5 and a green, sorcery, Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for Redhorn Pass or Mines of Moria. For each Redhorn Pass vote, search the library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped. If you search your library this way, shuffle. For each Mines of Moria vote, return a card from your graveyard to your hand, then exile travel through Carcadras. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that word. Windswift Slice. 2 and a green, instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Create a number of 1/1 green elf warrior creature tokens equal to the amount of excess damage dealt this way. Interesting. So a nice punch effect that can also make tokens. Serdan the Shipwright. 3 green and a blue for 3/4 legendary elf noble. Vigilance. Secret Council. When it attacks, or when it enters the battlefield or attacks, each player secretly votes for a player, then those votes are revealed. Each player draws a card for each vote they received. Each player who received no votes may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. Wow. That could get ugly very quickly. Elrond of the White Council. 3 green and a blue for 3/3 legendary elf noble. Secret Council. When it enters the battlefield, each player secretly votes for fellowship or aid, then those votes are revealed. For each fellowship vote, the voter chooses a creature they control. You gain control of each creature chosen this way, and they gain this creature can't attack its owner. Then for each aid vote, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Quite a bit of a dilemma there. Aristor of the Council. 1 green and a blue for a 2/4 legendary elf noble. When players finish voting, each opponent who voted for a choice you voted for creates a treasure token. You scry X, where X is the number of opponents who voted for a choice you didn't vote for. Draw a card. That goes very well with all of these council. Oh, Elven Council. That makes perfect sense now. Mirkwood Trapper. 1 green and a blue for a 1/4 elf scout. Whenever a player attacks you, target attacking creature gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Whenever a player attacks, if they aren't attacking you, that player chooses an attacking creature, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Radagast, Wizard of Wilds. 2 green and a blue for a 3/5 legendary avatar wizard. Ward 1. Beasts and birds you control have Ward 1. Oh, so this is actually a secret potential commander for this deck. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, choose one. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token, or create a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. Sail into the West. 2 green and a blue. Instant. Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for return or embark. If return gets more votes, each player returns up to 2 cards from their graveyard to their hand. Then you exile Sail into the West. If embark gets more votes, or the vote is tied, each player may discard their hand and draw 7 cards. Oh! Okay, so it's a wheel or it's a return to. Nice. Song of Earendil. Or Earendil? Earendil. That is a very hard word to say. 3, a green and a blue. Scry 2 for a saga with 3 chapters. It has scry 2, then draw 2 cards. Chapter 2, it's create a treasure token and a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. And chapter 3 is put a flying counter on each creature you control without flying. Interesting. Lothlorien Blade. 3 mana equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature defending player controls. Equip Elf 2, regular equip is 5. Nice. Model of Unity. 3 mana artifact. Whenever players finish voting, you and each opponent who voted for a choice you voted for may scry 2. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Oh, that's neat. Colossal Whale. 5 blue for a 5/5 whale with Island Walk. Whenever it attacks, you may exile target creature defending player controls until Colossal Whale leaves the battlefield. Devastation Tide, a reprint of the Miracle Cycle. Very interesting. 3 blue for a sorcery. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Miracle, 1 and a blue. Mystic Confluence. Very nice. This actually makes it into the Vintage Cube. But 3 blue for an instant with choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Draw a card. So very nice seeing that get a reprint. Plea for Power. 3 and a blue sorcery. Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes for time or knowledge. If time gets more votes, take an extra turn after this one. If knowledge gets more votes or the vote is tied, draw 3 cards. This seems like a fixed version of another card that I can't remember the name of. Swansong! Oh, beautiful reprint for Swansong. For single blue, you have an instant with counter target enchantment, instant, or sorcery spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. Asceticism. We had so many art cards for this. It's an enchantment for 3 green. Creatures you control have hexproof. 1 and a green, regenerate target creature. Keep in mind that's not target creature you control, just target creature, so you can do a lot of politics with this. Elvish Archdruid. Very nice. Continuing the theme of reprinting modern and legacy elves in this deck. But 1 green for a 2/2 elf druid. Other elves you control get +1/+1. Tap, add green for each elf you control. Elvish Piper. 3 and a green for a 1/1 elf shaman. Green and tap, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. It's old, great way of cheating in giant creatures, like Eldrazi and whatnot. Alright, we have Elvish Warmaster. It's a reprint from Kaldheim. 1 and a green for a 2/2 elf warrior. Whenever 1 or more other elves enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. 5 green, elves you control get +2/+2 and gain death touch until end of turn. Genesis Wave. Wow, they're really giving us some great stuff here. X green, sorcery. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of permanent cards with mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put onto the battlefield into your graveyard. So this is a great way to just put your whole deck into play if you can generate enough mana for it. Heroic Intervention. 1 and a green, instant. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. One of the best protection spells ever printed. Hornet Queen. Also great card that is in the Vintage Cube. But 4 green for a 2/2 insect with flying and death touch. When it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. Inscription of Abundance. 1 and a green, instant, kicker, 2 and a green. Choose one. If the spell was kicked, choose any number instead. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Target player gains X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures they control. And target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Very nice. Overwhelming Stampede. 3 green, sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. It's basically half of a Craterhoof Behemoth. Realm Seekers. 4 green for 0/0 Elf Scout. When it enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total number of cards in all players' hands. That can be very large. 2 and a green, remove a +1/+1 counter from Realm Seekers, search your library for a land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. That is a land card, not a basic, by the way, so that's any land. Seeds of Renewal. 6 and a green sorcery, Undaunted. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each opponent. What? So in a commander game, this will generally be 3 and a green. Return up to 2 target cards from your graveyard to your hand, exile Seeds of Renewal. Sylvan Offering. 6 and a green sorcery. Choose an opponent. You and that player each create an XX green Treefolk creature token. Choose an opponent. You and that player each create X/1/1 green Elf Warrior creature tokens. Nice. You can actually pick different people there too, which is interesting. Exotic Orchard. Tap, add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Is this basically Reflecting Pools? I think that's effectively Reflecting Pools. Flooded Grove. Nice, one of the filter lands. That's beautiful art. Taps for green, or taps for colorless, and you can use a green or a blue to turn it into any combination of green or blue. Hinterland Harbor. Very nice. Love the art on that. It's going to replace my normal version. It's one of the buddy lands. Rejuvenating Springs. This is, I think, the Battle Bond land. Enters the battlefield unless you have 2 or more opponents. Or tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents, and it's green or blue. Fine Glimmer Snarl. It's the blue-green Snarl. Lonely Sandbar. It's the cycling land for green from Onslaught. Yeah, the Onslaught one. Thornwood Falls. Comes into play tapped. You gain a life. Taps for green or a blue. Tranquil Thicket. It is the green Onslaught cycling land. Woodland Stream. The one of the worst tap lands. Then we have some islands. Very nice islands. Let's see, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 islands. And some forests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 forests. Then we have Galadriel, Elven Queen. They're cardboard standee. This one a little nicked up, apparently. We have 3 Treefolk tokens that are also beast tokens. Very nice. We have a treasure token that is an Elf Warrior. We have 4 insect tokens that are also Elf Warriors. Very nice. Go along with our Hornet Queen and then all the things that make Elf tokens. And then we have 2 birds that are also Warrior tokens. I could see these birds eventually being very useful tokens because they work with Swan Song and a number of other things. We have a ring token that explains. The ring tempts you on the back, and an overview card. I could see this. This is a fantastic start for an elf deck. I could see some great pathways for upgrades, namely like Heritage Druid, and just a lot of different elf things that have been printed over the years. Many of the elf lords would go well in this. Green Sun Zenith probably be very nice in this. I think Green Sun Zenith. My brain is a bit mush today. Helps with session 0 for D&D, and kind of took a lot out of me. Let's see. Yeah, Green Sun Zenith would be good. Adding a Dryad Arbor would be a very good initial upgrade here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other things. A good place to look for guidance would be like Legacy Elf lists or even modern elf lists. Like a Wirewood Symbiote would be great in here. Well-Wisher could be interesting. And if you wanted to go more of the councils or the vote direction versus the kind of elf ball direction that this is already going, you could take a look at some of the various voting mechanics over the years. There have been enough of them at this point that I think that you could really add to it. And then, of course, like Lana War Elves, Noble. I don't know if you could play Noble Hierarch because it's color identity, but yeah, there's quite a few things here that you could work or that you could really lean into. Also, things that draw you cards based on either the number of creatures that you have or the number of creatures for a given type. Like Distant Melody would be a good option. Wirewood Channeler would also lean more into the Elf Ball kind of route. And then even like a Crater Hope Behemoth or something along those lines. And like Court of Calling, the general good green stuff that you can do, especially with elves. But yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining me on this adventure to Middle-earth. This has been Elven Council, the second commander deck that we've done for this set. So yeah, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is the best way to help out the channel in a non-monetary fashion. If you'd like to also help in a monetary fashion, that is an option too, by checking out our Patreon. It's linked on our About page and is a good way to help out the channel and get access to some really cool stuff, like our Discord and a whole bunch of other stuff that I just can't think of off the top of my head right now. Yeah. As always, until next time, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.